Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Rogula. Today is Thursday, April 2nd. It's a new month that started yesterday. We are now in the month of April. Did any of you play any pranks on your family yesterday for April Fool's Day? I know Mrs. Friedman talked a little bit about that in her video with you. I'd love to hear about it. Maybe on Friday for our live Zoom meeting, you can tell us if you played any little pranks on your family. Can we all sing a song together to start? First of all, let's close our eyes again. Let's pretend we're in our classroom. Are you peeking? We're sitting on our blue rug. Think about what shape you're sitting on and what color it is. Your crisscross applesauce, and maybe look to your right. Who's sitting next to you? Are you sitting next to one of your friends? Look to your left. Who's on the other side of you? Look around the whole circle. Can you picture all your friends in your mind? All right, you can open your eyes and let's try to picture our class all together again. And let's sing If You're Happy and You Know It together. Can you sing it with me? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy, you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, pat your head. If you're happy and you know it, pat your head. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, pat your head. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, do all three. Hooray! Thank you for singing with me. That was my puppy Lucy who wanted to play along and sing too. She was very excited about the song. So on Tuesday, I talked about the saying for April. Do you remember what that was? April showers bring May flowers. And we talked about the importance of having rain so our earth can start growing things. And I know yesterday, Mrs. Friedman talked about wind. A lot of times it gets windy in the spring because that's caused by temperature changes. We're going from colder weather to warmer weather, but sometimes that's happening at the same time. Sometimes when there's rain and there's wind, we get thunderstorms. And so when we want to talk about thunderstorms, we talk about when the warm air meets the cold air. And it's kind of like the two airs get into a fight and they kind of start wrestling around each other and they stir up those big thunderstorm clouds, and that causes some lightning and some thunder. Raise your hand if you like a thunderstorm. I like a thunderstorm. I think they're really cozy. Raise your hand if thunderstorms make you a little nervous. When I was little, they used to make me a little bit nervous. And that's okay too. It's a loud noise, and it seems like they happen at night a lot of times. So sometimes we get a little nervous, but I like to just get cozy under the covers and listen to that sound of the thunderstorm and the rain outside. And the good thing about thunderstorms is they're usually pretty quick because it's so windy, they're blowing by in the sky. So they blow over pretty quickly. And we're going to teach you a little trick to know when that thunderstorm is passing by and how you know it's further and further away in a little bit. It's part of the story that I'm going to read to you. Right now, can we read or do a song about thunder? It's called I Hear Thunder. I'll do it once and then you try to join along with me, okay? I hear thunder, I hear thunder. Hark, don't you? Hark, don't you? Pitter patter raindrops, pitter patter raindrops. I'm wet through, so are you. Put your coat on, Put your boots on. Hurry now, hurry now. Put up your umbrella, put up your umbrella. You are dry, so am I. Can you try to sing that with me this time? Let's sing it and do the motions together. I hear thunder, I hear thunder. Hark, don't you, hark, don't you. Pitter patter raindrops, pitter patter raindrops. I'm wet through, so are you. Put your coat on, put your coat on, and your boots, and your boots. Put up your umbrella, put up your umbrella. Now you're dry, so am I. Thank you for singing that song. Maybe you can practice that and sing it, teach it to your family, and sing it with them as well. We're going to do a little experiment to show you a little bit about what happens with a thunderstorm. So remember when I said a thunderstorm is caused when we have warm air rising from the earth, from the ground, and it meets cold air up in the sky. And the warm air meets the cold air and they kind of start to swirl around and get into a little bit of a fight. And when they get into that fight, that's causing our thunderstorm clouds to get bigger and bigger. And there's more and more moisture getting in those clouds. And it comes to the ground in rain. And the fighting causes a little bit of lightning and thunder. So I'm going to show you an experiment using water. We're going to pretend the water that we see is air. And you get to see a little bit better what happens when that cold air mixes with the warm air. But I'm going to be using cold water that is blue and red water, which is hot. And I'm going to get those in a minute and show you what that looks like. Okay, I have a tank here of water that is just regular room temperature. I have a cup of cold water that's been in my refrigerator, and I put some blue food coloring in it so we could see it. And I have a cup of hot water that I just heated up in the microwave, and I put red food coloring in it. So we're going to pretend this is our cold air, and this is our hot air. And this is the air just outside in the sky. And first I'm going to put the cold water in one side, and I'm going to put the hot water in the other side. And it's kind of hard to see, but the cold water has sunk to the bottom. You see how the blue is more on the bottom and the red is on top because the cold water is heavier because it's cold than the hot water. And then they're going to start to meet in the middle. Let's see. So you might need to rewind, ask mom or dad to help you rewind to watch that experiment again because it happened very quickly where the water, the red and the blue water kind of swirled together before they separated and the blue sank to the bottom and the red rose to the top. So it's when that red water is rising and the blue water is sinking and they meet in the air, that's called convection. And so that's when our air masses are mixing up and that causes our wind and sometimes our thunderstorms. And sometimes it gets so windy that our wind starts to spin and that can cause something called a tornado. And I remember a few of you have talked about tornadoes in the classroom before. We don't have tornadoes very often here. Sometimes they get in the surrounding areas and we hear those sirens go off, and you always should have a safe place to go in your house or at school where you know where to go in case there is a tornado. If we were at school right now, we would be doing tornado drills at this time of year, just like we do fire drills and we practice what would happen if there's a fire. When we go outside and we take attendance to make sure we have everybody, and those are just a practice so we're prepared. In the spring, we have tornado drills where we practice what to do in case there's a tornado. We don't go outside. You want to stay inside where it's safe, and you want to try to be somewhere where you're away from windows and you're in the sturdiest, strongest place of the school building or your house. If you're at home and you have a basement, that's usually where people go, or into a bathroom with a bathtub is a safe place. But maybe you talk to mom or dad and decide where your safe place is to go in case there is a tornado warning and you hear the sirens outside that tell you it's time to get to a safe place. So let me show you. I have another experiment to show you to see kind of what a tornado looks like. It's when that wind gets spinning around in a circular motion, and you can see what that looks like this. Okay, so we're gonna make a tornado in a water bottle. Again, we're using water to show us what the air and the wind does when these storms happen. So with a tornado, the air starts to circulate very quickly and it creates a funnel. So I have 2 water bottles. One is filled with water, and I have a special connector here. This is a connector that's just for helping us make this funnel, but you could make this at home with 2 bottles and something called a washer. Ask mom or dad what that is, and some tape. If you wanted to try to make this at home, and they could look up instructions. They're pretty easy to find on the internet. So I'm gonna flip this over, and I'm gonna get that water going around in a circle. And let's see if we can get, there we go. There is our funnel and our tornado. Look at that. So this is like a water tornado, it gets that water spinning, and that's what happens with the tornado. The air starts to spin. Let's do it one more time. Just kind of move my water around. Just a bit more. There we go. See our tornado. So this is fun. If we were in school together, we'd pass it around and let you play with it and see if you can make the tornado, but maybe you can make one at home, or we will put it in the classroom hopefully when we get back together, and you can give it a try. Okay, we are going to make our own thunderstorm, so you can do this together with me like we did the rainstorm on Tuesday where we just patted our laps. Remember? And we did it softly when the rain was starting, and then it got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then the rainstorm stopped. We're gonna add some thunder to our storm today. So find something that you can bang with. It could be wooden spoons, if you have some. Ask mom or dad. It could just be your hands, and you're gonna pat either your lap or the couch if you're sitting on a couch, or the ground if you're sitting on the ground. I happen to have a drum. Maybe you have a toy drum at home, but you don't need it. But I have a drum, and I have some drumsticks that were my kids. So I pulled those out for our rainstorm. I'm gonna start. Everyone start patting lightly with me. This is our rain. Does it sound like rain falling? It's getting a little heavier. And it's getting heavier. And it's getting heavier. And all of a sudden, there's gonna be, boom, some thunder. And our rain is coming down, and boom, there's some more thunder. Oh, you know who likes rainstorms is Lucy. And here our rain is coming down, and boom, some more thunder. And one more time, boom, 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 some more thunder. Oh, see, Lucy really likes the rainstorm. And now our rain is slowing down. And slowing down. Oh, see, she needs some snuggles during the rain. And our rain has stopped. Ask mom and dad first what to use and where you can pat. You can even do it on the couch. Boom! And then great. That's a fun activity you can do at home with your family. The story we're going to read today is called Thunder Cake. It's by Patricia Polacco, and it is the true story of her visiting her grandmother in Michigan and how her grandmother helped her overcome her fear of thunderstorms. So the first picture we see her grandmother on the farm, and we see the storm clouds, but they're off in the distance. They're far away still. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake baking weather. All right, looks like a storm is coming to me." So she's looking at the sky. She sees a storm coming, but it's still far away. "Child, you must come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," Grandma said. I think she's a little bit nervous about the storm. Getting a nice hug from Grandma while the storm's coming. The air was hot and heavy and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she said. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake," I said as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is, so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be a real thunder cake." Her eyes looked at the black clouds away off in the distance. She's figuring it out. Then she went into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find the recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages in a creased spot. "There it is, thunder cake." She wrote down the ingredients on a piece of paper. "Now let's gather all the things we need," she said as she scurried towards the back door. We were by the barn when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles, it's 10 miles away, Grandma said as she looked at the sky. "About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather the eggs." Eggs from mean old Nellie Peck Hen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. "I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get the eggs." The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Milk was next. Milk came from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Baroom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. Here's the picture. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through tangleweed woods to the dry shed. Suddenly, the lightning slit the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I counted. Boom, ba-boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed across the sky as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ka-ka-ka-boom, the thunder growled. We hurried back to the house and the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them in the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3, and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it. We have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. You're too brave, she said as she looked right at me. You're sitting by the window. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered, and you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen, and you got milk from old Kick Cow, and you went through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed, and you climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all those things. I thought and I thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said, as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Just then, the lightning flashed, and this time it lit the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled and boomed and crashed and boomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the top of the thunder cake. As the rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea. When the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared thunder again. Here's the recipe if anyone wants to make some thunder cake. That was a great story, and I hope you remember that the next time there's a thunderstorm, that it's just noise outside and a little bit of rain and wind, and if you want to count from the time you see the lightning flash until the time you hear the thunder, you'll know how far away the storm is, and that sometimes makes us feel a little better. I hope you enjoyed the story. The last thing I'm going to do is our guessing box. I know that some of you have already been assigned a letter to find an object in your home. I know Bear is doing the letter B, L is doing the letter E, and NJ is doing the letter N. I'd also like to have Petey do the letter P. Find something in your house that begins with the letter P, put it in a bag, and come up with 3 clues to give us at our Zoom meeting tomorrow, and we can try to guess what's in the bag. I did another guessing box. I have something in this bag that begins with the letter W. W makes a W sound. So in this bag, I have something that begins with the letter W. Here's my first clue. It is something you can drink. Does anybody have a guess? You can tell someone who's sitting next to you, mom or dad or brother or sister. My second clue is you use it to take a bath. Something that begins with the letter W, and you need it to take a bath. Some of you may have the guess. My third clue is it's something that falls from the sky when it rains. We've been talking about rain this week, but what falls from the sky when it rains? Do you have a guess? Everyone say it all at once. If you said water, you are correct. I have water in my guessing bag. We can't wait for our Zoom meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Have mom or dad or someone help you get on the computer and get on our Zoom call, and we'll be able to see each other on the computers and say hello. We're gonna do some songs and some stories, and Bear and Al and NJ and PD will get to share their guessing boxes. We can't wait to see you then. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.